changing perceptions, challenging the status quo, and breaking the rules of conventional business. Ladies and gentlemen, Tonee Ndungu. Yes, is e-learning the future of education?
No.
It's not?
It's not.
What?
It's not.
I didn't see that coming. Okay.
Blended learning is the future of education. Blended learning is where you take you see, teachers will always be the basis of education because you need that one-on-one engagement with a human being. And that can never be replaced by an app or by a computer or by a tablet. Never. A teacher is always going to be at the front of the classroom. But the teacher's role is what is going to change. From being the source of content to being the facilitator of content. So blended learning is where you take digital stuff, both software and hardware, and a human being and put them together. Yeah, it's kind of like, it's experiential learning, where you learn how to do things on your own. But the future of education is self-driven. If anybody was ever to ask me that question you've asked me, what is the future of education? It's self-driven, self-taught. It's where a student becomes an eternal learner. Because you think about it, whatever it is you learned in university 5, 10, 15 years ago just doesn't apply anymore. Very difficult for it to apply. Why? Because so many things, fundamental things have changed, that when you look at high engineering, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math jobs, people have to go for retraining. Because every 18 months, the power of our technology doubles. But the mental capacity of a human brain stays the same. So now we have to retrain you to keep up with your technology. Yeah? I remember 7 years ago, my dad used to insist on a stick shift, kugeuza gear. Yeah, he never wanted an automatic. Now he cannot do without it because it just makes his life easier. Mobile phone, same thing. Everybody I used to be one of those people who liked my phones, I can finya buttons. Now I want to take a touch screen. It's just easier for me to do so many more things. So the convenience of technology has had to make people teach themselves how to manage it. And that's just what's going to keep happening. You'll find people building applications with no manuals. You just do it yourself. You figure it out as you go. So blended learning and self-education is the future of education.
Are we okay, listening to you, are we going to run out of physical schools? I mean, physical schools, I think, have become it's like the foundation of the political landscape in Kenya. If you want to be an MP, I will build schools, I will build schools. Are we talking about, if you elect me as an MP, then I'm going to get kitabu for free for everyone in the constituency?
It's like,
just
I think
a thought.
It's the conversation around technology is not what is going to come next. It's what will I be next. There's two differences. What is going to come next is where you sit and wait for something to come and solve your problems. What I'm going to be next is where your entire lifestyle is changed around a piece of technology. Let me give an example. 10 years ago, we used to use money order or 2NK or Eldoret Express to send money shags.
Yeah.
Now it's M-Pesa. But then look at what mobile money has done for people. It's not just given me the opportunity to send money, which is what I used to do. It's given me the opportunity to send money, to pay for things, to save money, to earn interest of my money. It's given me to build a business around it. It's given me so many opportunities. I have become something because of technology. So it's not that it's made my life more convenient. It has done that, but it's also made me an entirely different person. So education is not going to be about schools anymore. Not even close. Education will be about the entire environment of learning, where I don't have to see my teacher in person to learn. I can learn with my teacher, but she's 500 kilometers away. And I have a device, and they have a device. The same way TV did that.
Yeah.
Just recently, we changed to digital television. And now you've seen what's happened. TV channels have started popping up. It's a new business opportunity. Marketing rates have gone down. Advertising costs have gone down. And you can open up your own TV station in your bedroom and become more influential than some of the largest media houses in the country. You can see that happening not just in the US, but in Europe, in China, in different parts of the world. You can look at the Arab Spring. A couple of years ago. It was started by some guys on Twitter and Facebook, and then 6 countries changed. Some are still struggling to change. Syria is what it is. Yemen is what it is. Saudi Arabia had to change the way they approach people because of that. It's simply because the person you have become, because of technology, has changed, not just the technology itself.
What's the biggest challenge, or what's the most challenging task you've had to do while starting and running Kitabu?
being persistent, patient, and consistent. Persistent, patient,
Patience.
consistent. Persistence is digging that hole because you believe there's water. And you keep digging even when it's dry. Persistence. Patience is knowing that things take a while and then waiting for that to happen. It's kind of like a farmer. You plant, you wait. You know your maize is doing something inside the soil, but you have to wait. That is something you have to have. So persistence, patience, and consistency. Keep going, keep doing it. Don't slow down, don't increase your, pace yourself. Keep doing it. Learn how to spend money, learn how to reduce your costs, learn to build relationships, engage people. You will be in trouble, you'll need people to help you. Get those relationships, get people to help you. Don't be too arrogant, don't be fooled by the amount of money you raise, don't be fooled by the things people say.
Yeah.
Stay humble, stay focused, and stay hungry is what Steve Jobs said. Just keep doing that. Stay focused and work hard and always make sure you have a good, feasible end goal and people around you to keep you going. One of my biggest lessons, I think, has always been my generation. I'm 35, so we are 1970s kids, 1979, 85, that age group. We are fortunate because we're not a microwave generation, which is very mature generation.
Yeah.
But we're also not a marination generation, which is our parents. We don't wait too long, but we're also not too patient.
Yeah.
We want to see something in a period of time. And that's why if you look at globally at the startups and the startup and entrepreneurship environment around the world, it's kind of like my generation-ish that is kind of driving it.
True.
The problem with the generation after us is now everybody wants to make $1 million in 2 days. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. So it's just getting yourself in the right mindset, which is a trick for very many people.
Let's talk about NILAB. Tell us more about NILAB. What is NILAB? What does it do? And what prompted you to think that, there's no NILAB, let's have NILAB?
So when I started it with a friend called Bart many years ago, the idea was get a place where people can come and start businesses. When I left in 2012, Sam Gishuru, who took over from me, grew it into something even bigger, where now they've got startups, they're building up startups, they're growing the business infrastructure. He's managed to engage government in putting some money into it, I believe, and it's become creating a conversation around entrepreneurship and technology. It was just a need. You look, the space, it's blank, it's empty, build it. I think that's the entrepreneurship spirit. You find a need that concerns you, and you appreciate that there are many other people who have the same need, and then you build something for not just you, for everyone. That's what it was. And that's what was easy to raise money, because people would come in, build a business, sell it for $100,000. You've just changed somebody's life. It made sense. And they built products people wanted. So when you look at what can we do, think about how you can solve somebody else's problem. And that's what every incubator should do. Help people learn to solve other people's problems, because those are the people who are going to become their customers. That's basically it.
I have ever been incubated
Yep.
once when I was done with high school. That was like 2 years ago. So I don't want to mention the incubator, but I went to the incubator. I was doing an email startup thing. But to be honest, for the first 4 months, nobody checked up on me. Nobody checked what
That's
we are
it.
doing.
See.
What are incubators doing wrong? Are they really helping? Are they really...
There has been, I remember I coined this word once, I got into trouble for it. There's been a hibernation. It's a hibernation where you go in, you sit down, you look nice, and then you don't really do anything. There's been that. That's kind of happened in the last couple of months, not in the, maybe the last couple of years, not in the early times. When we started, we knew we needed money, and to get money, you needed to come up with a product that sells.
Yeah.
So we were very keen on making sure, what are you doing? What did you do last week? What are you doing this week? Can we get you somebody for marketing? Can we find you the right people? But now there's kind of been a lull, and in some circles, people are not even buying into it anymore. People are like, where are the results of all these hubs and spaces? And it's a valid question. I mean, what have you built? True. That said, though, I do see that education doesn't teach you entrepreneurship. And business and accounting is not entrepreneurship. Something needs to teach people entrepreneurship. And because very few Kenyan families are in business, where are you going to learn it from if you don't learn it in an institution of some sort?
True.
So until we see entrepreneurship added to the 844, soon to be a new curriculum, people will have to go look for places where they can be taught how to run a business, what a business model canvas is, what is marketing, what is segmentation, what are all these terminologies that, though I have an MBA, I've never heard of. Those are the things that hubs are filling up in terms of empty space. And until somebody else does it, or the education system does it, the hubs will always have their place.
What's the number one reason why most Kenyan startups fail or do not scale or don't go beyond, maybe the incubation
Number one
stage?
reason, I think there are two main reasons, I think, and it's not money.
The most prevalent.
Yeah, it is not money. People say, oh, it's money. No. I think the number one reason is a bad business case. How are you making money? Oh, people will come. No. You don't build a business assuming people will come. People have already come, so you build a business. That's how it works. People always assume because Steve Jobs said, I'm going to build an iPhone and people are going to come, my business is the same. That is not even halfway true. That's the first reason. So people don't know how to build businesses, for consumers who exist. The second reason is we don't know how to build a business. We don't know how to do it. I founded Kitabu, but I'm not the Kitabu CEO because I don't have the skill sets for that. So you get somebody who's a skilled CEO, tell him, here's a company. I am one of your employees. Let's run this thing together. That's how you build a business, by knowing your place, getting the right professionals to help you do it, and then doing it slowly and consistently with a real product. Don't just build it and they will come. And then don't look for money. Let money find you.
You just said something interesting, that you have another person as the CEO running the business, which reminds me of Robin Sharma's book. I don't know if you've read it, that leaders, it's not about the title, but it's really about the kind of service that you give. But you find that in the Kenyan youth entrepreneurship scene, young people are obsessed with titles. You want to start something for someone to call you CEO, executive director.
Yeah.
Well, in real sense, you have, I don't want to sound rude, but you have nothing.
Yeah.
You have nothing on the ground.
I don't know. We have a big man problem. Big man syndrome is an African problem. It's mkubwa flani, mzee flani, that kind of nonsense. It doesn't mean that you've added any value to anybody. You just want a title for a title's sake.
Yeah.
So it's a cultural mind shift. And it's political, it is cultural, it is religious, it's across the board. So it's not a surprise that you see it in business as well, where mkubwa walks in and everybody's looking at him like, wow. But that guy actually does nothing in the company. I guess just getting the right people in front of you helps you think different. I've never been impressed by titles. I don't care. Doesn't bother me. Do you do a good job? Yes. Show me that you do a good job. Then I will respect you for the job you've done, not for the name you've given yourself. So those are the kind of attitudes that so many people I know have. They're not impressed by the Tonee Ndungu founder Kitabu. What have you done to help improve education? Those are the people I want to hang around. The ones who put your feet firmly on the ground and tell you this is working and this is not. And until you're able to put your pride aside and learn from the best as a student consistently, you will always be the wannabe who will be nothing eventually. Well, the rest of us are going to be making sure we're changing the world every day, 1 minute at a time. And until that happens, I feel sorry for people who think they are something when they are nothing. What can I do?
Looking at the startup scene in Kenya, yeah, these startups that are coming up, whether it's tech or any other industry, which startup do you think is the next big thing?
Kitabu is the next big thing.
Apart from Kitabu.
There's a lot of startups that...
Can you point out some, huh?
There's quite a few. I don't know if there's a next big thing specifically, right? Because there are different sectors. I think Sendi is one. They transporting stuff with motorbikes and pikipikis and stuff. Sendi's, I think, is going to be a big deal. I'm pretty sure spaces like Moringa School is going to be big because they're teaching kids how to be technically savvy. That is a very big deal, I'm sure. It's going to catch along as it goes. I know there's some apps that have been there in the game for a while, Cellular and M-Pesa Pal. Those are mobile payment platforms. Those are going to be big shortly. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to see some of those. So there's a growth opportunity in different sectors. Agribusiness, there's almost no one. So everyone wants to see what's going to happen in the agribusiness space. Umati Capital has been doing some good work in that space. So there's some growth in that direction. So it's spread out nicely. I think health is the biggest one. Health is on. Whoever cracks health really has something going, whether it's for malaria or TB notifications, pregnancy. Whoever cracks health is really a champion, because that's one thing we need to really focus on. And with the lack of infrastructure being one of the biggest problems in Africa, if anyone can come up with a solution to some of these infrastructural problems, we are trying to do education, but there's also insurance, there's health, transportation and security. If you can come up with something there, that's that's quite something worth looking forward to. But I know there's some I don't even know about that are coming, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Everybody else who's in the edtech space or any other space is going to bring something big.
I'm going to be honest with you guys, but I think Tonee is like the most inspirational people that I have met. And actually, after this shoot, I'm planning on asking him to be one of my mentors. Because, man, I need to think like that. If I'm going to be relevant in the next 10 years and make a big impact as an entrepreneur, then, oh man, you need to know this guy. Well, let's take a short break and we'll be back with the last bit.